Coach, opening statement, please.
I love the team. I asked, all week long, told them it was going to be a street fight before we took the field today. It's going to take 60 minutes. The last 3 games have come down to, well, forget this one. Before this one had been 2 walk-offs and an overtime, and obviously today was another walk-off with the exception of the last play we had to go. So I'm just proud of the guys for fighting all the way to the end. And really, that at the end of the day, I'm just going to kind of leave it at that. I'm just proud of the team and sticking together and playing for 60 minutes because we knew that's what it was going to take.
You talked about your trust in Jackson. What's it like to obviously put your trust in him and him go hit that 50?
Well, imagine how hard that is. Even harder when you know the previous one was blocked, and so to be able to be mentally tough enough to block that one out and forget that, trust the operation, trust the guys are going to do a great job up front, trust the snapper's going to do a great job, trust the holder's going to do a great job. That's why we love Jackson. Obviously, he's did a great job, getting himself to where he's at right now. But that's a huge kick, man. And for Caden Samanza to deliver on 2 huge throws, Malcolm Gilly coming up with a huge catch, a 50-50 ball, and then Tanner making a bloody catch. We talked about it being a bloody game. It was going to be a bloody game, and we had to be willing to throw our body on the line. And we talk about throwing your body on the line, knowing that I had to make that catch to really have a chance to get us into position, and he was able to get that done.
I know you talked about locker room celebrations almost every way. Where does this one rank on a homecoming?
I'll be in for treatment tomorrow. That was hard to describe. What's even better is seeing some of the guys that have played, in the past, and guys that are in that locker room, and that never gets old, man. That brings such a smile to your face, and you'll travel whatever distance that you have to come back here, whether it's homecoming or any other game, to be a part of that. It doesn't get any better in that feeling that you have as a little kid when you're celebrating with your teammates, and to be honest with you, acting like a clown, acting silly. I acted silly. I ran in there and jumped. My vertical stinks, but I got up on top of somebody's pads, and then I appreciate them lifting me up after that, because it's certainly not because I had a vertical. And there's nothing better. It's hard to describe. I was hoping that the roof would pop off in the locker room, and I just trying to enjoy. You work hard to have that moment like that, and especially as dramatic as the end was of that football game. So just to be able to celebrate together, nothing better.
I know you preached turnovers. How big were just those 3 turnovers in Wayne?
Huge. The defense did such a great job, and they're getting better every week, and to have those turnovers, the only thing I wish would have been different is we put touchdowns on the board and not field goals. And so, but anytime you can get a takeaway like that and, give extra possessions to the offense, that's big, man. And then for them to come up, like they did there, was awesome. And just like I said, the only thing, it would just be nice to get those touchdowns on the board and instead of field goals.
Honestly, walking in the facility every day, you've got that gallery with the trophies. What's it like to know that LeBron stopped staying home?
Awesome. Listen, we talked about that at the beginning of the week. It's certainly added. We're playing the MAC the rest of the way, MAC schedule the rest of the way. But when you're having a trophy game, and now we got another trophy game next week, man, it just adds to it that much more. And our guys that are in that locker room, we've gone against these guys. That's one of the more veteran teams that there is in FBS. I think 32 or 34 seniors on their team, and so we knew it was going to be a dogfight. We knew that this team had a ton of experience, and I think our guys up front. I give our credit really to the guys in the trenches again, because they knew our goal was to make sure that we were the most physical team on the field, and our guys up front did a great job.
Talking about that offensive and defensive front, defensive line aspect of today, how have you seen them kind of mesh together as the season has progressed?
I think just getting better and feeding off one another. And obviously we're going to need every guy that we got. Obviously we've already been tested some with some of the injuries that we've had so far. And I think guys are just continuing to grow and make sure that the guy next to him knows that I believe in you and I trust that you're going to get your job done. And it really comes down to that at the end of the day. It's just each guy making sure he does his job to the best of his ability with the best effort he's got, one play at a time. And we got to do that for 60 minutes. That's always the challenging thing. And I thought our guys were awesome, just playing all the way until the last snap of the game.
What does it mean to you personally to know that all these guys have that fight in them? I
love that. I wouldn't want to go to war with anybody else, man. you're never out of the fight. Pain is temporary. Turn your pain into triumph. We've been through some pain. We've been through some tough moments this year, but hopefully our team's drawing from that, and we're trying to turn that pain into triumph right now. And for tonight, we were able to do that, and I'm proud of the guys because you work so hard every day. And some mornings are tough when you come in here and you see guys that are hurt. They're just beat up, and you know they're beat up. But when you ask them to throw their body on the line and to really sacrifice their body, knowing the type of game it was going to be, I'm just appreciative, and they got to know that we're going to look out for them tomorrow. They're not going to have to lift tomorrow. We're going to have a team meeting to recognize some awards being handed out and get those guys out of here because they deserve it and they've earned it. We got to take advantage of a little bit of time we have here to recover before we turn to action and bringing Miami coming to town.
Coach, NIU coming into this game was statistically the best third down defense in the country. In the first half, you guys got more third down conversions against them than anybody has in a full game all year. So was that kind of a point of emphasis, was staying on the field?
Yeah, and you give them credit because if you look at their third down package, they got some exceptional pass rushers. So the one way to keep those exceptional pass rushers off the field and get into their third down package is to go tempo on them. So we knew we wanted to go tempo. We wanted to do some RPO. We knew that some of those would have to be runs because if you let them get their pass rush group on the field and they can pin their ears back, they can make it tough on you. So that was a heavy part of the plan with the RPO, with going with tempo so that we could keep some of those guys on the sideline that they like to sub in on third down. So it was a great job by our offensive staff, by everybody involved over there, Coach Elliott, Coach Lynch, and obviously the execution piece of it by Caden Simonza making good decisions when you are, faced with an RPO. Sometimes it tests your patience as a quarterback when it's 3rd and 6. Man, I want to get it by throwing it, but the smartest thing to do was to be able to run the ball and grind out some of those first downs. So just credit the guy, credit the staff, and how hard those guys worked to put a great plan together.
You talked last week about the strides that the run defense has made throughout the season, and then NIU, this team runs a really run-heavy offense. Head coach is a former running back. Mm-hmm. So what did you like that you saw from the run defense? Yeah,
this is one of the best rushing teams in the league. Northern is, and they do a great job each and every year. They had a two-headed monster with both the running backs there, and I thought our guys did a really nice job. We had the one run there, the touchdown run there in the first half there by Ontario, and obviously he's a great runner. He's got great balance. He's going to break tackles, but it really came down to us, those leaky yards after tackle or being able to get him to the ground. But I thought our guys, did a great job overall, and when you're playing against a first-team all-conference back, eventually he's going to get some. You just hope to limit the big ones, and our guys just kept battling them.
You had the two freshman corners both had, in crunch time, really crucial penalties that could have ended up a lot worse than they did. How much easier is it to kind of make sure they learn that lesson after a win as opposed to potentially losing the game?
They'll learn that lesson. They'll definitely learn the lesson with the personal foul penalty. There's no place for that. I don't tolerate that. I'll make sure that gets addressed. Obviously, it falls back on me because I didn't do a good enough job making sure that what we do post-snap doesn't cost us. So you can't ever get caught up in the heat of the moment. I'll make sure and address that tomorrow and get that handled. But, those guys are going to make mistakes, but the personal foul piece of it are the ones that just simply can't happen. There's not a place for that. And, it's been a big point of emphasis throughout college football of trying to eliminate the post-snap antics, the post-snap, whatever you want to call them, gyrations, all those things. But there's simply no place for that, and I'll get it fixed.
What was it like seeing the team kind of rush Jackson after he converted that last field goal there?
Well, first time we rushed him, we got called back off the field. I couldn't believe that he was blowing the whistle, and I was like, what's going on? I mean, we were in that same situation last year on the road at Northern, a little bit shorter of attempt, and I think about the same time, and it ran off, and we didn't have to go back out there. So obviously it tugs at you, your emotions, thinking that, man, we just won the game, but now we got to go back for one more play here. And so, but credit, the squib kick there, and credit our guys defensively for going out and delivering. We knew it was going to be a lateral situation, and our guys, defended that play well and finished the deal.
Yeah, special teams throughout the year has been really strong. You guys took the opening kickoff up to the 40-yard line. Of course, Courville had all those field goals he made today, but even the 2 punts down inside the 5 today were big. So, I mean,
yeah, we work hard at it. Again, Coach Conley does a great job, and nobody works harder in the meeting room because you got to remember when most guys go to college, it's not their goal to play on special teams. So you got to find a creative way as a special teams coordinator to make sure they're locked in the meetings, that they're bought in, knowing that the number one way to get yourself on the travel squad, to get on the bus, to get on the plane, to be dressed out here for a home game is through special teams. And you try to show example after example of guys that came before them doing that exact same thing. So just the buy-in and the way he presents the information in the meeting room, and he's the first meeting out of the gate, so he's charged a lot of times with making sure they're awake. And so we have a team meeting first, but just the juice and the energy, and he does a great job with those meetings, and nobody spends more time than we do on the practice field with special teams, and because they can win games for you, and I think we saw that today.
How much does Caden practice those coach runs?
He's practiced them quite a bit the last couple of weeks. We always have 2 of them on the script. We have one from 3x1 in case we're on the left hash, and we have one from 2x2 in case we're on the right hash. I shouldn't say that, but that's how it's structurally set up. Every time he's attempted the one the last couple of weeks on the left hash, he's drilled it so he didn't get to the second one. So he's just got to keep going with that, because that's a weapon when you can not have a returner back. And if you can execute that kick and get it down there inside the 10, the 5, that's tough. And that makes it tough on your opponent to be able to go 99, 98 yards. And so we just got to stay after that and use that as a weapon when it fits.
Any final question for Coach?
Yeah, Coach, I wanted to ask you about your offensive team identity. It kind of seems like you've built a formula at this point, and you went to it right at the start of the game where, you're passing it to Coesville, he gets the touchdown, and you're running it through Pemberton and Sloan. And so I just wanted to ask you a little bit about that offensive team identity.
Yeah, I would say this. We came out today no different than we did a week ago against Vanderbilt. This team, Northern Illinois, was possessing the ball roughly 35 minutes a game, and so no different than Vanderbilt. And so we wanted to, they won the coin toss and they deferred, so that gave us the ball first, because we talked in the hotel, we talked in the team meeting this morning, like we won the coin toss, we're going to take the ball. So for our guys to go out there and to establish the tone, to set the tone on how we were going to play in terms of physicality, we ran the ball a bunch in that first drive. And so our guys up front in the trenches are the ones that got that thing started, because we knew that being physical and establishing how we were going to play this game was important. So for us to possess the ball for almost 35 minutes in this game, for us to convert 10 out of 18 on third down, those were things we talked about having to win. We had to win third down. We won third down. We won the possession battle. We won the turnover battle. And obviously it took all the way to the last play of the game to win the game. But, whatever it takes, and we talked about that, whatever it's going to take for us to come out victorious, we're all bought into it. And again, it always comes in different ways, but I'm just proud of our guys for fighting for 60 minutes all the way to the end.
And the last thing I wanted to ask about, Coach, is you mentioned last week at Vanderbilt you had kind of a small patch of fans over there that you said you really appreciated their support. How important is it to come back home, and for the rest of the season you have 2 home, 2 away games?
Yeah, well, that's a big responsibility. We take it very serious when it's homecoming, because in order for it to be a great homecoming, the football team's got to win the game. I know everybody's going to have a great weekend. They're going to see friends. They're going to see former classmates, teammates. They're going to go to some get-togethers, tailgate. But it's our job to make sure it's really a good weekend. And so in order to be able to get that done, you got to win that game. So take that responsibility very serious. Obviously, we love playing here at Schumann Stadium. I personally was fired up when we came out. We ran down the hill to start the game, and both sides were lined up with kids. There's nothing more exciting to me than see the youth in this community here to try to develop a rapport with the players, to maybe look at them like, hey, man, I got some heroes in my life that I look up to, just because somebody shook my hand or gave me a high five on the way to the field. I know what that did for me when I was a kid and I went to a high school game and somebody gave me a high five. I know what that did for me. So I'm just super appreciative, not only for the crowd, but just to see the kids there. That meant a lot to me, and I'm sure it meant a lot to our guys as well. All right. Thanks,
awesome.
guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Kind
Keontae.
of get into it. Obviously, what was your first reaction to seeing that field goal go in?
I knew it was good as soon as we snapped the ball. Like I knew it was good as soon as we snapped the ball. And if you see anything of watching me, you knew I knew it was good as soon as we snapped the ball. They got us on the first one to block it and all that, but it don't matter because they didn't block the one that counted.
And I know you received that fumble. Kind of what was going through your head when you got that?
Score. Score. And I played a lot of offense in high school, so I was just trying to relive them glory days. And one tackle away, they'll still be running with it.
I guess how big were those 3 turnovers, not just for the football game, but for the defensive morality as a whole?
Oh, it was very big for us because that's something we've been struggling to do this season is get the ball back in our offensive hands. Like besides getting stops from 3 and outs and stuff like that, we need those sudden changes to help our offense with field position and give them more chances to score because all those points, they end up leading to touchdowns, I don't think. Still early, I don't remember. But they led to points, essentially, so that's all that matters, and we have more than them at the end of the day.
I guess, you come in the first weeks of the season, really struggled against the run. Now it would be stopping NIU, arguably has the best run game in the MAC.
Mm-hmm.
How would you kind of see the progression go from week 1 to now with this defense?
It was a pride thing. Like, me and some of the other guys started bringing everybody in, not just the linebackers or D-line. Like, we brought everybody in, and early on in the season, we still do it, like, every day. So we're just bringing guys in and letting them know, like, we can't keep putting this on tape. Like, people gashing us outside, inside, screens, everything in a like short game. We can't have that. So we took pride in stopping the run, and we've been able to do that for the past couple of weeks. But it went pretty today, and we got to fix up some fits, and we're gonna make sure we get that done before we play Miami next week.
I guess how would you compare playing in the defense from week 1 to now? How much difference is there?
It feels like it's a lot more confidence going on in the back end that wasn't there early on in the season because of the lack of experience, game experience. But nobody ever like lost hope in their teammates and themselves. Like, we just knew we were 1 and 3 plays away from dominating teams, and we still are 1 to 3 plays away from dominating teams. And once we eliminate these explosive plays, which everybody knows, like now we know that if we eliminate explosive plays, like, it's hard to play with us on defense, and nobody bats an eye when we have those explosive plays. Early on in the season, people get to panicking, and then emotions start flying. But now that's all dead. Everybody's ready to play.
Yeah, I asked Mike the same question. What's it mean to you to walk in that lobby here in the facility and know that the Bronze Stock's staying on?
I've lost one game to NIU on a game-winning field goal, and it seems like they just keep coming down to game-winning field goals. But just having that and knowing that my record against NIU is good, and it's gonna keep on going, and we're gonna keep the Stock in Muncie even after I'm gone. It don't get no better than that. And I'm sorry, my heart's still beating fast.
I get it. And then obviously your senior for homecoming. Kind of what does a win like this mean for you?
It means everything to me. You don't get too many opportunities. We spend so much time practicing in the off season, practicing workouts and all this, and we only get 12 guaranteed games. You get one homecoming a year, and it's nothing better than beating NIU, keeping the Bronze Stock, and then winning on homecoming. Because homecoming is not complete if football does not come out with the dub.
And Mike said the same thing. Just hearts going crazy. I know the locker room celebrations tend to get pretty wild. Just where does this one rank?
Oh my goodness. We've had some good ones. We broke a chair earlier this year. I got hit with a piece of that, so I'm not gonna put that too high. I'll say 3 all time. I've been here for a little minute, so that's a lot of good locker room experiences.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
What was it like with the whole team, everybody rushing the field, going after Jackson after you made that game-winning kick?
Oh my goodness, like flying everywhere. I'm not the only one that knew it was good. We just had to wait until it went through the uprights to rush the field, and then they trying to make us run extra plays. No, it's all right. But just like that guy goes out there, and he's probably one of the most consistent people that I've ever met. I see him all the time. I'm in the stadium because I'm here all day, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing here? You're a kicker. He's like, I got to stay ready. All right then, Jackson, do your thing. And he said it after the game. This is what I do, and that is what he does. He comes and he stays consistent, and it shows on the field. I love him to death.
I saw you, pre-game. I was out on the field taking some pictures, and then after you picked up that fumble, you started jumping up and down. What do you like? How do you bring that much energy just every single game, all the time, throughout every single game?
It's really just my personality. We tend to wake up early. I probably wake up at 5 o'clock every day throughout the week, and I wake up with this amount of energy. Like, I just know I have to be the same consistent person, because if I'm not, my dog's not going to be happy, and then if I come in and I got pouting and stuff, then it's going to leak through the team. So I just try to be the same person every day, and God bless me with, like, unlimited energy. I don't do the caffeine. Well, I started taking caffeine pills, but, like, coffee and all that stuff, none of that. It's pure energy, baby. It's pure love for the game, and I love being here with these guys. The season ain't go as ways, but we ain't worrying about the beginning. We still got some more opportunities to make things happen, so we're going to get it done.
I saw you talk to Joey pregame, and he also came up with a turnover today. What's it like for both of y'all to get one on the same
Hey,
day?
man, me and Joey, we didn't spend some time in here just playing special teams, and we've had a lot of talks with each other saying we get an opportunity to go out there and play with each other. We're going to play for each other, play as hard as we can for the guy next to you, and that's the guy next to me on majority of the plays, and just seeing him get those, and y'all don't even know, but he helped me out tremendously because the tight end was open, and we got the tip, and he picked it off, but, like, just seeing him get rewarded for the things that he's been waiting on and the things he's been working for, both battling through these little nicks and knacks and injuries, and just knowing I have that dog beside me every time just, like, makes my life a little bit easier.
You talked about you guys both starting your career on special teams, and now, special teams is still huge on this team. Do you think that, you guys that have come up from special teams play a role in establishing a culture where you guys take pride in your special teams?
Most definitely, because we got a thing around here that says the best players play, and it's really across the country. You'll see people at Alabama that go in the first round and play receiver. They're getting gunner reps on punt early in their career. You got to start somewhere because you might not be ready to play 37 downs in defense. You only play those 9 on special teams, and when you get those 9 on special teams, you got to take advantage of them, man. I feel like we've done a good thing in instilling that into the young guys, and they know that's the quickest way to get on the field. That's the quickest way to get them noticed. Like Feeney went down with injury today, but he's been lighting it up. He's been lighting it up since he got here, and so have a couple of other young guys. So I'm just glad to see them take that all in.
How is Sam doing? How is he like spirits-wise in the locker room?
I haven't saw him yet, and I'm waiting to see him because I talked to his dad a little bit during the game after I found out what happened. But Sam's a dog, and when he was limping off the field, he still had that dog in him, and I know how he is, and I know he's going to battle through it, whatever he's going through right now, and I love him to death, and I need him to know I'm there with him.
And I wanted to ask you, you mentioned you kind of giving the team an injection of energy. What do you kind of say to McLean after he got that penalty following that?
Calm down. Things happen. Stuff happens. I had a bad penalty at the end of the Kent State game to set them up to be in a position to possibly steal that away from us. So things happen. We all human and we all make mistakes. And him being as young as he is, and he's very hard on himself. Like when he makes the smallest mistakes, he'll beat us up over it. So I just try to tell him, keep your head up. Stuff happens, but we have to finish this drive. We can't just let that eat us up for the rest of this drive. Even though we're supposed to get off the field on that play, but we still got more ball to play. Things aren't perfect. Nobody's perfect. Things happen. You just don't happen. Don't let it happen again. And it didn't. He did what he was supposed to do as a young player, and him and Will have stepped up tremendously. Things happen. And I let him know, like, stuff happens, bro. I'm not perfect either. I messed up. I get fouls and stuff all the time. Just don't let it happen again. He looked me dead in my eye. I got you, and it didn't happen again, so we good.
And how do you strike that balance between, giving the team an injection of energy following the plays and not going too far?
Sometimes I struggle with going too far, and that's just because how passionate I am. And then I'm on my last year, and I want everything to be as perfect as possible. But just knowing your guys, like we've done a lot of team bonding with drivers and stuff during camp, just knowing how to reach people and yelling and doing all that stuff ain't going to help at the end of the day because the coach is going to do most of that. It's going to come down to me and the leadership council, like Riley Tolsma, y'all about to talk to him a little bit. Like he calms me down from time to time. It's like, hey, Key, we good. We good. Just take a breath, and that helps me out tremendously. And it's not just me. I got a group of guys that they put all their faith in me, and I'll go die for them any day of the week.
A large majority of your early season has been spent away from Schumann Stadium. How refreshing was it to see the fans, packing the stadium today?
It felt so good, and it was a lot of fans there today, and I'm glad to see all those students and stuff make it from the tailgate. But just like having these outings, because every home game we've had, it felt like Schumann's been packed and been rocking. The Hills had a lot of people on there, and just being at home my senior year just feels good to me. It feels feeling because I'm getting wins. We need to be getting more wins here at the Schumann Stadium. So that just feels good for me.
All right, Keontae, thank you very much.
Appreciate it, Keontae.
Appreciate y'all.
Well, Riley, I can kind of get into it. Obviously, kind of walk me through that play where you ended up tipping that ball to Stemler.
Yeah, so it was a blitz call where the safety was blitzing off the edge and I was stunting inside. So I was blitzing against the guard and I just pushed him back and I was really close to the quarterback, so I saw he was about to throw, so I just reached my hand up. I was just in the right spot.
I guess how difficult is it to honestly tip a ball like that?
Our Coach Conley especially, just always preaches to match hands is what he calls it. So it's kind of an instinct thing. I didn't really think about it. I didn't really plan on it, but I was just there and just in the right spot. So.
I know you said a lot, and other defenders have said as well, that the defense really starts with that defensive line. Obviously today, in stopping NIU's rushing game, just how do you feel like the group is really meshing together over the season?
Yeah, I think as we've gotten more experience, as we've gotten more reps, because we came into the season, a lot of guys haven't played very many snaps. So as the season has gone on, we've really gelled together, and I feel like the defense as a whole has really started to pick it up, and we've really started to catch our strides.
You talked about that defensive line and guys stepping up, having a lot of fight. What's it like to be next to your teammates and they're fighting just as hard as you are?
It's just a relieving feeling because I know my D-line brothers are going to battle it out every play till the final whistle with me. So it's just a great feeling to know that they have your back like that.
And then obviously on that final whistle, when Jackson made that kick, just what was your reaction?
It was unreal. I don't have words for it. It was just the best feeling ever.
You and Brandon Berger quietly becoming one of the best pass rushing duos in the conference. What is it like having another guy coming off the other edge helping you out?
Yeah, it just gives me more confidence to do what I keep doing because I know that Berger's doing really well and he's going to pressure the quarterback. Because sometimes he pressures the quarterback and washes him out to my side, and sometimes the other way. So it's just really a good feeling.
We think, I don't know if we're certain on this, but we think you had that forced fumble that Keontae recovered in the
Yeah,
first half on the
yeah.
QB. Was that like an intentional punch out, or did you just happen to swing the arm around out there?
I mean, I saw him kind of wrapped up, and he was like kind of just standing there. So I just kind of, I didn't really punch the ball, but I just really hit him hard right where the ball was. But
Well, hey, that'll do it.
Kevin kind of had an interesting proposition there, so I might as well ask you, what's kind of the dynamic like between you and Newsom and some of those other guys who, maybe are a little bit more energetic while you're, I don't know the right word, maybe more level-headed on the other end to balance each other out?
yeah, I mean, Keontae, as you guys know, he's always energetic. He's always bubbly. He's always the one giving speeches and stuff. And I kind of, when he gets going too much or he gets too hot, I'm very even keeled. So I just like to, when it's necessary, I just say, hey, Keontae, we're good. But I mean, I think it's a good dynamic with the leadership of the defense. He's the energetic, hype up guy, and I'm the background guy that does things by example, and just we work well off of each other.
Absolutely. And then I remember last week Samanza said that you guys were just a couple big plays away from flipping your record from 5-2 to 2-5. And I wanted to ask you this week. You guys had a lot of big forced turnovers, and then handed it off to the offense, and they created points every time. How does it feel to be on the opposite end of that?
I mean, it feels amazing because especially like that Central game was just one of the worst feelings I've ever had after a game. So for it to go the other way, it's just surreal. It's just a great feeling, and we got to keep doing that going forward.
A little more on the dynamic between you and Keontae. He's been here 4 years. He's a senior. You're a transfer. You just came in. How have you kind of seen this defense develop in your first year here? Yeah.
So I've been here since January. So the longer I've been here, the more comfortable I've been with the guys, and the more I've seen the group mesh, and the more I've seen us develop as players and as people. I just think that's really good.
Any more for Riley?
I think we're good.
All right, Bruce.
Feeling good?
Yeah.
I imagine.
I know.
Always feels good.
I was watching you right before the kick. Obviously, you were in the net almost until the last second running on the field. What was going through your head when you were running on the field?
Same thing as every time I'm on the field. It's the same process where I'm kind of picturing what I want to happen, and because if I see it before it happens, then I can make it happen. That's the kind of part of my process. So I don't treat it any differently than any other kick when I'm going out there. So it's the same kick every time. And when I go out there, I'm just going to do my best to perform the way I know I can perform.
Yeah, and I know Neu talked about that blocked kick right before. Did that waive your confidence at all?
No, and it can't, because if I let it waver my confidence, it just hurts the next kick. And you have to move on, and that's part of the position. Things are going to happen, and you get one shot. We say that all the time. You get one shot out there. So if something doesn't go our way, the most important kick's the next one.
Kind of walk me through your head as you see that kick go through the uprights and obviously running around with the team. What's that moment like for you?
I mean, it's amazing, obviously. Just watching, obviously, the distance. So it's kind of in the air longer. So watching that go through, shout out to Tucker and Brian, obviously, for the operation, getting that ball down, getting the hold down, because without them, without all the blocking guys all up front, all the big men, none of that's possible. So.
Did you know that was going through as soon as you kicked it?
No, the operation, the hold, kind of got messed up a little at the end. Brian saved it, made sure it was down before, so I hit it, and at that point, I hit it, I did the best I can, and then I'm watching, and what happens after that happens. So I'm focused more on the process rather than the result, and if I know if I take care of the process beforehand, the result will handle itself.
Obviously, daily work for you might look a little different than any player on offense or defense. How do you continuously stay locked in and sharp?
It's just kind of a mindset, the way I approach every kick. I'm going to go out there and before the kick have the same process like I talked about. So despite like the misconceptions about our practice and everything, our practice isn't as physical or anything compared to some of the other guys, but neither is our position. So we've been working since camp and before that to get our preparation right, and that's what it comes down to is how we prepare. So.
And then obviously back-to-back years knocking off NIU and
Mhm.
the seconds closing out.
Yeah.
Just is that kind of crazy to you that it's 2 years in a row?
I mean, the situation is what it is. This is the MAC, and we're in dogfights sometimes, and those one-possession games, it comes down to things like that. So there's going to be a lot more in my career, I'm sure, and there's going to be a lot more in the MAC in general, and the teams that are able to prepare for those moments and understand what they need to do in those moments, live up to them, and get the win in the end.
Now, obviously, very even-keeled right here after hitting a game winner. Just how much is that even-keeled mindset important for what you do?
A lot. I get hyped up after the kick, obviously, because those moments are big and I love them. But when I'm walking out on the field, like I'm straight-faced because I know I got to go out there, and it's just part of the job. It's just my job. So it shouldn't be anything that's different from any other kick, and that's just how I approach everyone.
Absolutely.
You've battled through some injuries this year. We saw Carson Homer come in, make some good kicks against Kent State.
Yeah.
What is it like to kind of have a guy back there behind you that you also have confidence in? Does he help your confidence at all?
Absolutely. That whole spec room, I mean, is amazing. And, yeah, shout out to Carson because he's been able to do the kickoffs since I've been out and kind of take that kind of pressure off me, I guess, in a way to allow me to come back and kick. So in that whole spec room, Brian, Tucker, Caden, Cole, Hunter, like I truly believe like we're one of the closest rooms on the team because we spend so much time together, and those are like a great group of guys, and we boost each other's confidence because we're always there for each other because we're the only ones that kind of know what those positions are like because they're honestly just different from a lot of the rest of the team. So we have to hold each other's confidence up and help each other out.
Yeah, speaking of confidence, obviously, clutch kicks, 4 for 5 today.
Mhm.
One miss was the block. But you also set your career long twice today with the 50-yard kick and then the 52-yarder for the game
Mhm.
winner. So how much confidence does that give you knowing that you can just drill them from that far out?
It doesn't really change anything to me because I know I can hit from that distance. I've done it in practice. It's just the opportunity to go do it in game and being prepared to go execute that. So it's not – obviously hitting kicks in general is a good confidence boost. I love being out there and having the opportunity. But I know what I'm capable of, and I know I can go out there and execute. So just because it's a far distance doesn't change anything. It's the same kick.
And I think we've asked everybody so far about the locker room celebration. How was that for you personally as kind of the hero of this one?
It's great. I mean, no matter what, whenever we get a win, going back to that locker room, singing the fight song, just being with all the guys that make it possible because it's a full team win and celebrating with them. I mean, it's an amazing feeling.
We've already covered a lot of ground here, so I guess I just wanted to ask you, being kind of put out there in a new position twice in the same game where they're depending on you to make one from 50 and then 52.
Mm-hmm.
What is all that process like behind the scenes? How much is there going on that, from the side where like he's never hit one from 50 and then you go out there and hit two?
Like I said, I know I'm capable of like hitting that kick, and it's just the opportunity to go out there and do it. And we've prepared, and if the coaches trust me and put me out there, like I trust myself to go out there and execute as well. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to go out there, and then at that point it's just up to the execution. And we've done a lot in the spec room, Tucker and Brian, and just the operation. And we've worked a lot on the blocking up front this year as well, making sure that we take care of all those details. So like I said before, it's a 50 and a 53 or whatever it was, but ultimately it's the same kick and we have to go out there and execute. The same as the whatever 20-yarder that was earlier in the game. Like those two kicks shouldn't be any different just because of the situation and distance. We have to go out there and make a play regardless.
And with all that work, every single day on a daily basis, how fulfilling is it for you to get a chance like this, for all that to culminate in a game-winning field goal?
It's great. Like you mentioned, there's been some adversity this year, and I wasn't able to be on the field the whole season. So being able to have the opportunity to go out there and prove what I can do, and just that whole operation to prove themselves and go make a big-time play when it matters most, and that's everything. I mean, those are the opportunities you live for. every time you're grateful for the opportunity, and then at that point it's up to you and your preparation to go execute.
Anything further for Jackson?
Thank you, guys.